Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Boston Greeks podcast. As per usual, we have an amazing episode today. We have three great guys that are part of a group that we kind of got a little bit of a taste before in a previous interview, but they are so involved in so many things that we decided we're going to pull like what Marvel does with the multiverse, and we're going to do like a series of events to try to cover everything in depth about what this group does, because they are putting Boston on the map. They are talented, just intelligent, talented, great individuals. We're old friends with one of them, new friends with the other two. And before I say any more, let me bring on my co-host, Fotis Stamos, and Foti will introduce these amazing guests we have today. Hello, Foti.
Yes, so Ari, and aside from one thing you forgot to mention, all the great things, they're also good-looking gentlemen as well. Let's not forget.
Oh, okay. See, I don't like to take the spotlight away from you, Foti, so I don't say those.
More importantly, thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to the Boston Greeks podcast. And because we had an amazing interview with our previous co-host and guest on Boston Greeks, this is the time that we want to bring the team together. So we have a newly formed team by identity, which we'll discuss now. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring on the group from Xenia Greek Hospitality, Demetri, Stefanos, and Brendan. Thank you so much for joining us. We're super excited to learn more about what you're doing at the moment and what's coming in the pipeline. So gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's try to like organize this. We want to kind of get a brief history of you guys. Do you want to start you want to just maybe start with Demetri and then go to Stefano and then to Brendan? Does that sound good?
Whatever works.
That's our connection anyway. So we have to start with Demetri.
All right, Demetri, can you give us just a brief summary of you guys as a group and how it all came together? And the other two gentlemen, feel free to jump in. I'm sure Dimitri's fine with getting cut off every once in a while, so don't worry about that.
I have no problem, but we can do a whole episode on how we were connected. But the quick version is, Stefanos and I go way back through Greece, actually, when I visited him in Thessaloniki. And at one point we were climbing the Lefkos Pyrgos, and it was my first time. And I think it was Stefanos' first time too, even though he lives there. But he took me up there as a tourist. I've been to Thessaloniki before, but we went up there and we just started talking. It's like, hey, I think we can really do something great in the States. And, I've never found a partner or someone that I could work with in that sense, or wanted to pursue any Greek projects. I was still coming onto the scene in the Greek scene in Boston, and I always knew I just couldn't do it alone, and I wanted to build this team. And Stefanos is the first guy I went to, and we had a conversation on top of the Lefkos Pyrgos, and I think 6 months later, 8 months later, he was on a flight to Boston, and from there, it's all history. We were walking down Newbury Street, and we said, you know what? I think we need a Yiradiko. I think we need to do something. And we both come from that background. I was born, I'm Greek American. I was born here and raised in the Greek fast food scene. Now we call it fast casual. And then Stefanos did his thing in Greece, and we just literally strolled on Newbury Street. And, it was our first location in 2017. And from there, as you know, we talked about Four Grecos later and more on the way, and then Krasi and Hecate, as well as the new project coming on. We also knew that we couldn't do it just the two of us. And along the way, built this team. And it's not just three of us. There's 11 people right now, part of Xenia Greek Hospitality. We were all on this podcast. We would have small little squares, but we want to introduce, as the founders of Xenia, and then Brendan, who we pursued to take on the culinary aspect of all our concepts and not just one of them. But we started off as friends. I think we're all talented in what we do, and along the way, we just continue to add to this company and hopefully grow even more as we continue to grow our concepts.
Could I just interject real quick? if that's a true story about Lefkos Pyrgos, so my joke about the Marvel universe or whatever, when they make a movie about you guys, that is such a great opening
Oh,
scene.
we have even the pictures that we both jump. I have that picture. Yes.
I mean, that's such a great, that's just such a great story to have as your history. I love that. And Stefano, you're familiar with the United States? Have you ever been here before? Is this something that just kind of...
I've been once before, like I've been here like 7 years straight from 2015 when we start GreekAF, and I start actually working for Demetri's in committee as a bartender.
Oh, wow.
And that's my background from every aspect of restaurant business. I had my own place back in Greece. I'm doing it for like almost 20 years. So the first time that I came was like almost 10 years ago to visit my cousin. And I found Demetri at Cafeteria, a place that he used to manage back in the days.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's actually the starting point of like Greek restaurants or having that conversation. And then he was like crazy about the ideas and everything. And I have to confirm that he remembered everything. Actually, the GreekAF, Back Bay GreekAF is the starting point. Sometimes you have to go back, you know, to remember or to understand where is that start, like the whole thing. And actually it's GreekAF Back Bay. That's the first like project that we did.
And that, when did that open? In 2017, you said?
2017, February, the day of the Patriots parade, it was a blizzard.
Oh,
So, you know what's funny? I feel like GreekAF was around longer than that, which, like, when you say 2017, I was like, no, GreekAF, because so much exposure to GreekAF and so many people that have gone to GreekAF, so many Instagram pictures of people posting their gyros and their loukoumades and all this stuff about GreekAF. I feel like I've been seeing this for a long, long time, and that's actually a very young company. I mean, that's amazing, the strides you guys have made already.
We feel the same, Ari, based on our bodies and our mind. We feel that we're doing it for 25 years. I don't know. Sometimes it's getting like...
Well, that's how you know.
Yeah,
you guys
that's the starting
working
point.
Hard.
And speaking of GreekAF, of course, right now GreekAF operates with like 4 locations in Boston, and there is like expansion. We have like some stuff. I don't know if Demetri is ready to announce something, but I prefer to just stay.
We love to break the news here right now.
When we're ready, we're confirmed. We'll
Yes,
with
we
you.
will be back.
And for the Greeks,
Definitely.
we love telling the Greeks first.
Speaking of GreekAF, I'll take the responsibility of what I'm saying. But speaking of GreekAF, our goal is to actually make the biggest Greek fast casual company in US.
Truly Greek.
That's GreekAF to me. Of course, after pandemic, we found ourselves a little bit, you know, we had that back thoughts, if we are ready, what's going on with the market. But I feel after like these 2.5, almost 3 years, we came back stronger. I think we are ready to take that responsibility and take GreekAF to different states and different level. But I can see potential, definitely, with product, with our most popular product as a Greeks, gyros. What else?
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
So there is potential. There are people around. We feel strong. We feel better than before. We feel ready. That's our goal.
And now with the team growing too, I feel like we feel more ready. And why we brought in Brendan as well too is to really do the culinary backing and to handle all this expansion. You know, like I said, internally, we also have a marketing department. We also have our internal accountant, our operations team, our catering team, our event team, our marketing. We have all these different, you know, departments within Xenia that, like Stefanos said, we're more than ready now. And I think, you know, the whole purpose of doing all these concepts is to really portray what Xenia is. And for a lot of people, they might not know, but hospitality kind of gets lost when they just talk about hospitality. People can think hospitality is an Uber driver or a street cart vendor or any service that it gives customer service. But for us is we have a direct mission in our hospitality, and that is guest friendship and turning a stranger into a friend. And you'll see it across any of our concepts, whether it's the fast casual, the cocktail bar, the wine bar in Krasi, or our new project that we're working on, Bar Vlacha, is our staff is trained to make everyone who walks into that door, guest or not, vendor, whoever it may be, to feel so welcome that they feel cared for, and they feel that they just left as part of the family. And I think that's what sets our brand and our concepts apart from the other ones. And it's just not, a return of guests. It's not just, a customer we look at, they are truly guests of ours in our home. And I think that's where Xenia really escalates, and it's different from everywhere else, that we take on this ancient Greek form of hospitality, of philoxenia, and really incorporate it into our training so that everyone feels so cared for.
I also think that from my perspective, from what I've seen, that you guys are definitely, the prime choice to do something as big and bold as to possibly like a nationwide concept, possibly a global concept, because like I said before, you went from like 0 to hero in like 5 years. And that's like pretty impressive. I mean, you guys have a lot of stuff going on. Greco has the whole makeup look and style of something that I could see everywhere. I actually have, I'm not mentioning names, but I have friends who actually did a national chain out of DC. So I know it's possible if you're smart enough. And I think you guys 100% have that. And to transition, you mentioned one of the Greekest names I've ever heard. So let's bring him on, Brendan. What tell us, Brendan, how you are part of this group, how it came to be, and where you're at right now.
He is the Greekest non-Greek. Okay, so and meet Evan, our wine director, down the road too. The Greekest non-Greek you'll ever meet.
I mean, I'm Greek enough. So Pelley is actually short for Pellikasis. My papu changed our last name in the 1950s. He was in the radio business. Back in the 50s in the radio biz, you couldn't have an ethnic sounding name. So he actually changed his name from Pellikasis to Pelley. Half my family is Pellikasis, half is Pelley. My cousins went to Greek school. Me and my brother, we didn't go to Greek school. So it's weird, how some families kind of just became more Americanized. And
well, Brendan, I was saying that, jokingly, and I didn't know you were Greek at all. And I still think that, what you're doing and your ability to do it is amazing. But now that I know you actually have Greek blood in you, well, yeah. Now, unless you're arguing with everybody else, I might not believe it, but but I mean, that's great. So you are the culinary director. What does that mean exactly?
So, I mean, I'm a chef by trade, right? I'm classically French trained. I came up working in fine dining restaurants. I mean, I started in pizza shops, like Greek pizza shops, right? And then
now you're Greek. Now we know you're Greek.
Yeah, 100%. And then worked my way up the ladder, and eventually, somewhere in my career, I was cooking staff meal at a restaurant, and I was cooking like a baked lamb and rice, and it that food just brought me so much joy, and something just finally clicked. I was like, this is what I should be doing. I shouldn't be cooking French food. I should be cooking Greek food. How do I do this? And this was 2014, 2015, there was a hole in the market. And I think a number of us saw that hole in the market in Boston, that no one had really taken Greek food to the next level in the city. And I went out and I did a Greek pop-up named after my namesake, Pellikasis. And I kind of did some modern takes on Greek meze, and kind of got my name out there that way. And then I ran a Greek taverna for Michael Schlau for a little while, and I've been doing the Greek thing for a bit. And I think that's how Demetri and Stefanos found me, was having.
I ate his panakopita first, and then I.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sure. That was the first.
That's impressive. That's impressive. He
It's
ate
just-
the
small
spanakopita
community.
and was sold on you.
Oh my God.
He beat every Yaya Spanakopita out there.
Yes,
So.
All right.
definitely.
That's a bold statement, my friends. All right, we're gonna have a lot of people showing up there to do this challenge.
We're gonna do
Papu's
a
recipe. I just
Spanakopita
add more
cook-off.
butter.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, when Demetri reached out to me, he did the the industry thing we do now is we just slide into each other's DMs on Instagram.
Hey, we learned
Like,
that from
hey,
Lizzo
let's go.
talk, you know?
Yeah. And we started talking. I wasn't really, I'd kind of taken a step back after, running a restaurant for a couple of years in a pandemic. I was doing some consulting and I wasn't sure what my next big step was going to be. And that's when I heard about, the plans to grow this restaurant group, everything that they wanted to do. And I think that I bring the right kind of experience to be able to oversee multiple different types of food operations, like not just fine dining. Like I've been a caterer, I've worked in fast casual, I've ran cafes, I've ran fine dining restaurants, small and large, and everything across the board. So what I do for the company now is, I mean, it's not like I was brought on board to fix something that's broken, because this company is already like firing on all cylinders. So it's like, coming in and just polishing things. Like when it comes to a restaurant like Crossy is a fantastic restaurant. So all I can bring here is mentorship for the chefs that are already here, adding a little bit, like I said, like polishing dishes, a little refinement, making sure that things are seasonal and interesting, bringing a new perspective to the table,
And taking
as
it
far
to the
as
next
Greco
level.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as Greco goes, adding a little bit more seasonality to our approach on the menu, getting ready to take the next steps. If we are going to grow, then we want to make sure that we're consistent. Consistency is key, and we want that consistency and quality. And I also have some friends from DC who opened a big chain of restaurants. Like,
Maybe it's the
it's
same
not,
people.
yeah, I'm sure. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And it is important that you're consistent across the board, and not just like, it's not as simple as just sharing recipes. It's with our restaurant group, it's making sure that everyone shares the same hospitality mission too, that you're getting the same feel, the same vibe from every restaurant. And so I'm food focused. That's my department.
I mean,
Even
this
food though, for us, and people always say, oh my God, Greek food, all you need is a choriatiki, moussaka, and pastis, and you're all set. But you don't understand, like, the conversation I just had with Brendan an hour ago. In Boston, it's hard to do Greek food seasonally. We cannot have a choriatiki at Krasi or Barvlacha in January when the tomatoes we're getting aren't like Greece's in your backyard. In Greece, you just go to the backyard, you pick a tomato, you cut it, and you have a fresh choriatiki. It's like we're at a disadvantage here. So we're also showing people how we do Greek food locally here in Boston. We have 4 seasons here. We're not going to get the freshest produce out of season. So with Brendan, we're bringing in different Greek salads and different Greek recipes that aren't so familiar, that work with our seasons. So we are getting the freshest, most local ingredients possible. And I think that's always been interesting, even for me, just to constantly learn what's out there in the Greek market, and not just the basic taverna food you see out there. It's like we're expanding the horizons, we're challenging ourselves, and we're really going into the villages and different areas of Greece, whether, and for example, in Krasi, we just introduced some food from Traki up north, and there's recipes and there's herbs and there's spices that you would never think would make it into Greek food. And it's just really interesting to see that we can put that on a menu and tell people, yes, this is Greek food, and it's not just what a lot of Greek and Greek Americans know as Greek foods, or people who just visited Greece as a tourist. So it's been fun along the way too to really uncover and discover this whole new era of recipes out there.
Demetri, if I can just add to what you just mentioned, which I completely agree with you, is that so many other food cultures have been and are also featuring their regional cuisine, which each region has its own highlights. I feel that finally someone like yourselves is actually introducing regional Greek cuisine, that the interpretations based on where you go to Greece is so different. So yes, there should be that acknowledgement that based on the time of year you're in or where it's coming from, that there are dishes that we should be aware of. And it's only thanks to your approaches that we can actually experience that.
And one of the biggest things that drew me to Brendan is, as we all, social media stalk, my Instagram stalking of him, he has the coolest name, full of tripe, follow him. But you would see him out there foraging his own mushrooms, growing his own, vegetables in his garden. So I'm like, okay, here's a chef who's cooking at home, seasonal items, but he's also growing them himself too. So I found that very, very interesting. And just the approach, and it's something that me and Stefos have been talking about more recently too, and especially for the Bar Vlaha, is it opens up our eyes to a lot. Now for us, this whole sustainability thing is huge within the company, and we're finding ways to be a more sustainable group. And I think it all started from the Greek people not knowing that it would be something that we need to focus on again. And Stefos can fill in more on that, being from Greece. But this whole sustainability thing for us now is like, okay, we're opening Bar Vlacha, our newest concept that's going to be an ode to the Vlach cuisine and the people who were nomadic and the roots of Greek food. And they were sustainable farmers. Nothing went to waste. They use from nose to foot of any animal. They use the stem to the bud of any vegetable. And we're talking now with Brendan's like, we should incorporate that, or we must, and we will, into our program of Vlaha, where the food program, can give some of the waste that we can reuse in our drink program. So we are a sustainable restaurant. And I think that's something, as a restaurant group, our missions also expand. We're not just restaurateurs who open cool restaurants and have good food and drinks. No, the missions change over time. From where I was growing up, there was never a mission. It was just, let's just do a Greek restaurant so we can make money. Now it's like, let's do a Greek restaurant. Let's showcase our culture. Let's care about the environment. Let's care about people. Let's train to the what's ever happening in the world. And I just think as restaurateurs, it's like, we're more on the mentorship and we're more on the education piece now than, let's just go cook food and make Greek food. It changes for us as well. And I think those are conversations that I always bounce off, with all our partners and our members that, what else can we be doing? Mental health is a huge thing for us right now, and checking in with our staff and making sure everyone is okay. Like I just mentioned, sustainability, recycling, biodegradable packaging. We're always looking for ways to do things better. And I think that's why we've been so successful in building this team, because we all are on the same page with that. And the more people we have to bounce ideas off and help implement, the quicker and easier it is for us as well.
I want to say first and foremost, bravo. That everything you just said is just so refreshing and just amazing to hear, because we grew up in America, so we're American, but we're Greek. But there's aspects of the American culture, there's aspects of the Greek culture that we kind of, bounce between. And talking about environment and sustainability and whatever is always something that I kind of hear focused in companies in America more so than other places. And then I'll talk to some Greek entities, and it's more about just making that money. So it's this is so refreshing that these two worlds that I belong to, as a company, you guys are bringing it together, and it just sounds so good to me that you said all that stuff, and I commend you guys for that.
We just came back from Greece, and one of the seminars that I was part of was just all about sustainability in the restaurant business. And Steph was without talking to our vendors too, to make things packaging. I think at Greco we're plastic free. There's no plastic used in our own products, rather than some Greek, imports of beverages that we're also working with to replace as well.
You're basically you're cutting your own bottom line by doing this, right? Because you make a lot more money if you're doing things, a non-sustainable way. So again, that's such a commendable thing.
There's more to care about than the wallets these days. And I think we're one of the only few companies that has that mentality that the wallet isn't what we care for, health and the world's health and everyone else's health around us. We just came out of a pandemic. So I think there's much more that we want to show and we will show as this hospitality group of who we are and what our mission is.
So basically, Demetri, you've developed the Xenia ecosystem.
Stefanos?
We will be there at some point. I think we need to get into hotel businesses to say something like that, but that's the next step.
There you go. Excellent.
Speaking
Wow.
of hospitality in general, I will stay a little bit in Vlacha, which is our latest project for everything that Demetri mentioned and Brendan about the food. Technically, through Vlacha, I personally had the opportunity to rediscover tradition and culture. When you're going back to see some places or food and see it again and again, you can see yourself like learning something totally different or something new. So the Vlachiki Cuisina to me was a surprise in total because of the sustainability and because of I didn't know that pita in Suvla was a big piece of Vlachiki Cuisina because we all know Suvla in America or all over the world as a Greek food, but that actually comes from Vlachiki Cuisina. Wow. Like when you go to regions and incorporate the food, you learn through the process. I didn't know about the pita. I didn't know about their using so much butter in their process. Yes, don't get me wrong, Brendan. Brendan is laughing because we didn't find any olive oil behind Vlachiki Cuisina.
We just came back from a trip. We were out there, and I've been to Greece many, many times, and I've never really traveled through central Greece. And this was Brendan's first time. So we were on a 2-week journey. We went foraging for mushrooms and trying all these little villages, and just seeing how things, and Stefanos said the right word, rediscover, because I think it was a cuisine or a part of Greece that's often overlooked. And no one knows that Greece is 80% mountains. We're a mountain country. Everybody automatically thinks, oh, Greece, sand and beaches, Mykonos, this and that. But the roots of Greece are in that area that we're focusing on for Bar Vlacha. And believe it or not, it's where the hospitality came from. These were nomadic shepherds that were going village to village and needing somewhere to sleep, to eat, to bathe, and strangers were taking them in and giving them food, giving them a bed to sleep in, a shower, and before they went on their journey. And at Vlacha, it's what we really want to capture is the roots of our culture: food, hospitality, the vibe, the feeling. Stefanos took us on this journey in Metsovo. We went to an old Vlach house, and we saw the colors, we saw the customs, we saw the setup, and it was so interesting to see our culture beyond the Acropolis, beyond Athens and Mykonos and Santorini, and really see
what else.
It was just, for me, it opened my eyes. And being Greek American, all these years just going to Greece, we had the Chorio we went to, we had the islands, or this and that, or we just went to have good times, Glendia and whatever. But now it was like, wow, this is my culture. Wow, this is where the food comes from. This is the original. It doesn't get more OG than the Vlachs. And I think, we can use it as a term of, derogatory, making fun, but it's applauding them. They are the roots of Greek food and a lot of our culture. And we're so excited. And, what Brendan has in store, just coming off that trip, between Stefanos' concept and inspiration and the feel of the place, and what Brendan's doing in the kitchen and what we're doing in the bar program, it's going to be a nice rediscovery of the roots of Greece. And I'm so excited for this concept.
Yeah, from a chef standpoint, traveling in central and northern Greece, like seeing the food in these villages and in the countryside was totally eye-opening, because myself, I had only been to, again, like Athens and the islands. So, it's only a couple hours away, but it's a complete world away. And the cuisine is completely different. And there's actually seasons up there. So it actually translates better to cooking in New England, because, there's, believe it or not, there's snow in Greece, and there's seasons up in those mountains. And we were there in the summer, and it was like, 55 degrees up in the mountains. And Yeah, I mean, it's village cooking. It's rustic, it's village style cooking. There's no waste, there's curing, there's fermenting, there's pickling, preserving, smoking. You see a lot of foraged items. You see foraged mushrooms. You see wild game caught from the forest, rabbits and venison and wild boar. You see all sorts of freshwater fish. You see eel and crayfish and trout. All these things that you don't really immediately think of when you think of Greek cuisine. And these are things that I can bring to the table for inspiration for our Barblaha concept. And, you know, kind of circling back, it's like we were talking about how people haven't explored all the regions of Greek cooking yet. And I don't know, I kind of look at it like the way maybe Italian food was in America in the late 70s, early 80s. It was just red sauce. You thought it was spaghetti and meatballs. And now people understand that there are different regions and there's a deeper understanding. And there were big chefs that brought Italian cooking to the forefront on the Food Network in the 90s. And we're like, no, listen, this is a really complex cuisine. I think that's what we are trying to do with Greek cuisine now, because this is an incredibly rich, diverse, like gastronomy in Greek cooking. Not only are there differences between region to region, but village to village, they have their own specialties that they're enormously proud of. You go to one village and you just have to try this one type of pita that maybe is their specialty, and you know, or maybe they have one type of cheese that they specialize in. And I think we're really excited about all of that, and just to take a sliver of that and bring it to Boston is really exciting.
Wow.
So I'm just going to say that, you know, we got on this podcast because we wanted to learn more about you guys. But now, after hearing all this, like, I truly, like, no joke, truly am so pumped to try out this new concept. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait.
You know, part of the whole thing about the whole, you know, Xenia group is we want to push the envelope a little. We want to do different things. We want to do original ideas and original concepts. And one thing, you know, that I said, we're always learning from each other is when Stefanos came on board and we started, you know, even just, you know, Greco and Tikrasi, it's, you know, being Greek American, I think we were always scared to do anything more than what we knew, you know, and, you know, our safety zone was, okay, let's just do Greco, you know, people know it. And then, you know, Stefanos' big thing always was, and something that always it's instilled with me now is, he's like, no, let's not be Mediterranean. Let's be truly Greek. Is why we came up with the tagline for Greco is, like Brendan just said about Italian and red sauce, Greek food was always getting categorized with Mediterranean. And we were never in our own little, you know, our own little box. And, you know, Mediterranean now these days is Israel, Lebanon, Northern Africa, south of Spain, Italy,
pretty much
everything. So I think by Xenia's is we really want to push the envelope and focus on Greek and being our own category, our own cuisine. We have Michelin star restaurants in Greece. We have talented chefs worldwide. We have exporting. Our wines that are coming from Greece right now is what encouraged us to open Krasi. And I think what we're doing, and just the vendors and the people we're working with, are all helping us, you know, really push the envelope, because we could not definitely just open restaurants here in Boston without, you know, connecting with Greece and getting the products we need, you know, whether it's Stefanos getting a new vendor for us, or our wine director getting a new importer, or Brendan, you know, talking to some other chefs out there and getting some ingredients we need. We need Greece, and we need people to be on board with us and what we're trying to do. And it's not just us saying, oh, we need this just for us. We want to bring the product over here, and it's not just for us.
And it's happening not only in Boston, it's happening in New York, it's happening in LA, in Chicago, from people that they came with, like, pretty much the last 5 years, really good Greek brands, really good Greek brands. Like, I'm so happy the last 5 years, I'm going out there and I feel like proud about the Greek cuisine right now.
Stefanos pointed, yes, I agree, because I start to see that development across the country, and it's refreshing to see that there's more confidence across the board. So that's also an indicator that what you guys are doing is right on track. If not, I think you're even a little bit more ahead of the curve.
And the labels are getting easier to read too. You know, even at Agora now, we're bringing in all these products from Greece. Back in the day, we could not read a Greek label. You know, that's why our wine stores were so bad, because when they were exporting Greek wines, no one could say Xino Mavro, Georgitiko. And now they've kind of simplified everything. And we're noticing in their branding and their packaging, how everything is not just the evil eye anymore. Things are artistically done. Things are, you know, done. Yeah, you know, you're seeing very, very different branding now, and I love it. Agora has been another great project of ours that just launched, and we're doing all these Greek specialty products from Greece that we're bringing in and selling in store, online, nationwide, and it's been a fun project to work on, because again, we see what's going on in Greece, and we're bringing things here for Greeks and non-Greeks to try.
Awesome.
That's so cool. I mean, I love everything I'm hearing today. So I'm sure that there's a huge audience out there that knows exactly what you guys have done and are doing right now. But the newest concept, actually, we'll talk about Agora as well, because that's pretty new. But Bar Vlacha is when and where and.
Can we disclose that?
Yeah. Bar Vlacha, Brookline, Washington Square, early 2023. I expect January, early February opening. You know, you'll hear more of it. We'll break the news to you, but it's finalizing construction. We're waiting on one container from Greece with our decor pieces, and we'll put it together. Brendan has done some tastings already, and you know, we're excited to really, you know, bring this project to life. And I think it's going to be a rediscovery, you know, of this Greek this Greek culture that people kind of forgot about, or don't even know about.
So, I mean, are you guys, as far as Brendan's concerned, I'm sure upon opening, you're going to be spending a lot of time there, Brendan. And Demetri and Stefano, are you guys going to be kind of focused on that until it's like?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm responsible about the kudunya and the glitzes. I don't know anybody else.
So can we basically say that we know the chef to get a table?
There you go.
I know
See, if there's nothing more classic Greek on this podcast, it's that we use this podcast to get good tables at restaurants. So
You know a guy who knows a guy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, this is amazing. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, there's so much more that we haven't even scratched the surface yet. And we are going to continue doing this series with just your group, because there's so much. There's different individuals that we're going to bring on. There's different ideas, concepts, whatever that we're going to talk about. This is just scratching the surface, which to me is more than like 99% of what so many other people are doing. And yet it's still just a tiny piece. So I know how hard this work is. Foti knows how hard this work is. And like the fact that you guys got from where you were in 2017 to where you are now is truly an amazing.
We're all passionate in what we do, and like I was saying on my last podcast, that the Greek mentality changed too. For the longest time, our parents didn't want us going in the restaurant business. It was all about going to school, graduate, get your degree. I did it. I became an investment banker, but I'm like, I can't do this, and I wanted to go back in the restaurant business. You know, we all did something different to make the parents happy. And I think that's why we lost a lot of our Greek towns. A lot of the families did not want their kids taking over their Greek restaurants or pizzerias, laundry shops. So we all went to school, we got the education, and we all became on Wall Street finance and did something different. But some of us, like, you know, Brendan, Stefos, and I, we got away from that, and we went back, and we're just so proud of our culture and heritage that we want to showcase it. And, you know, I couldn't be happier, more honored or privileged or blessed to work with this group of people and to make these projects, you know, come to life. I can come up with an idea, but I'm also not the best at a lot of things. People think, oh my God, he's great, he's that, but I'm not. I don't cook. I'm not a chef. You know, I come up with ideas, but technically I'm all over the place sometimes too. That, you know, it's streamlined with concept and vibe from Stefos and, you know, Brendan with the food. I would make a Greek menu like Cheesecake Factory if I could. I would just put everything on it. You know, and then you have Brendan come in, no, we can't do that. Let's trim this. So we all, you know, work really well together, and, you know, we have that connection, and we also share that passion and that love for hospitality and what we do, which I think makes the team, you know, really, really successful and survive.
Can I make a suggestion for your next venture? You said Greek town. I think Boston needs a Greek town. I think you guys are the ones.
We
that
try Back Bay. We're three concepts in. You know,
You got to do it. You got to do it. I would die happy if Boston got a Greek town. So I'm putting it on you guys.
We'll help promote it.
Yeah.
We will need you. Let's do it again. Yeah.
Guys, this was amazing. Like I'm so happy to hear what's happening, not just with you guys as individuals, but like what you're putting together for our town, and potentially in the future could be much more than just our town. But you guys are really putting Boston on the map. I heard a story, I believe from Foti. Foti, if this was you, we were somewhere. Somebody was somewhere in Florida, and they were talking about something about Greek food, and then the word Boston, and it was, oh yeah, kasi, is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's out there. You guys are doing some great things, and again, and then you threw in the sustainability and all that stuff, which is these concepts that the old school, didn't really kind of think about. Maybe they didn't have to, but maybe they didn't want to. I don't know. But the fact that you guys are thinking about it, the fact that you guys are putting efforts into that, the fact that you're putting this kind of old school stuff with this new school mentality, it's just all stuff that I think is just great, and I think it works, and I think more people should be thinking that way.
No, it's important. It's important. It's important to us too, and everyone on the team. So, it's something that we have to constantly remind ourselves on. Like, are we doing this the sustainable way? Are we doing this the right way? And it's just a good self-check. And we need to take care of the environment more and each other. And I think that's what the world needs right now.
All right. So before we wrap this up, is there anything else that we can mention, or is that for the next episode? I think you guys covered pretty much everything that's allowable to talk, right?
But for now, don't forget Agora, the Greek market.
Yes. Sorry.
We have Tsureki. We have a new custom dessert display. You can go get your own Greek desserts. We have baklava, kataifi, tulubakia. We have roxakia. We really have a nice display over there, and it's great for.
It has a low-calorie display of stuff.
But we also have a cool holiday gift boxes and a nice name day box that we'll introduce next week, because I think we kind of forget about the name days as well. And sending a nice little Greek holiday snack box might be a good idea.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. How do they get to Agora? How can somebody go and find it right now?
Agora is at the Greco location of Seaport, 200 Pier 4 Boulevard. And you can also go to agorabygreco.com. Order online. We ship nationwide. We also deliver locally, and you can pick up at any time.
Awesome.
And we'll also have all that information in the video and podcast notes. So don't worry if you don't remember right off the bat. It's going to be right below. And I want to say first, before I turn it over to Foti, guys, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Demetri, we go way back, and we interviewed you before, and it was such a great episode.
Time flies with us. It's already been an hour. I'm like, how has this been an hour? We can't stop.
And the fact that you're able to come back and bring your partners and coworkers and everybody that's involved and to do this whole series, I think it's so cool, because Boston needs this. I think Boston is going to be an even prouder city. Can we get any prouder? We will be a much prouder city with everything that you guys are doing. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And Foti, do you want to say anything else?
Just closing comments. I just want to thank the gentlemen, Demetri, Stefanos, and Brendan. Thank you so much for enlightening us on what you're doing. This is definitely needed here in our city. And for our audience who have been listening and getting inspired and excited, stay tuned for the next episode, because I believe that we're bringing on your wine director for our next series. So definitely stay tuned for that. But I wanted to thank you. Just congratulations on everything. Much luck to everything that you're doing. And we're really humbled that you are allowing us to actually participate in the acknowledgements of your endeavors.
Ευχαριστούμε. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Thanksgiving, exactly.
You guys.
Be safe, have fun.
Again, a pleasure to meet you guys, Stefano and Brendan and Demetri. Thanks again for being with us. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. Check out everything they're doing. Go visit them. Go online and get stuff. just go, because this is the stuff we should be supporting. This is the stuff that we love. Thanks everybody out there. We will see you next time. Thanks guys. Have a good
Thank
one.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.